So we have the operation you can do with Python, we have SQL. Most of these things are data visualization tools, right? They are data visualization tools. So our focus for now is still Power BI. So Power BI is an extension, so to speak, of Microsoft Excel. So in Power BI, you find Power Query. So we did something the last time we had a session here, which was an introduction to of what Power BI looks like. So today, if time will not be against us, we'll be looking at Power Query. Power Query, how you can clean data, how you can transform data, and I hopefully think we can now represent those data visually. So please, have we all downloaded the data sets? Please kindly confirm to me you've downloaded the data set so that I would know how we are going to start. Have we all downloaded the data set?
Yes.
Okay, please let us ensure we also open our Power BI. For most of us that join through phone, you might want to be practicalizing also. So let me open the data set first. Let me share my screen. You should be seeing my screen now, right?
Yes.
All right, thank you. So these are this is the data that we are going to be working on, right? So this is a data to analyze. There's a particular organization in America that has a whole lot of people that defaulted in their credit cards. So we want to analyze the demography of those that refuse to pay. And also we want to look at the location of those that defaulted in payments. We want to look at their marriage. We want to look at the level of their education. However, unlike the data we analyzed the last time, this particular data is not clean. This particular data is not clean. So what we want to do first is to ensure that we clean this data. When we are done cleaning this data, we transform this data. When we are done transforming the data, we now visualize the data. After visualizing, we can now make reports or a dashboard as regards this data. So now, like I said, the next thing we are going to do is, please, can you still see my screen? Like, can you see the Power BI?
Yes.
You can see the Power BI template now, right?
Yes.
Okay, I think this is fine than the one we had the last night. So for those that are just joining in, or for those that just joined in today, like I said, there are different data sources. You can use PDF, you can use SQL Server, you can use Excel. There are a whole trunks of data sources you can use. So I won't just go and get the data like that, so that and those of us that don't know how this thing works can know. So an overall view is just that Power BI helps to visualize data. But in the attempt of visualizing your data, you can also don't make transform your data, right? So now, if you can see my screen, you will see that, please, can we mute? Thank you. So you will see that there are different sources I can bring in data from. There are different sources I can bring in data from. I'm trying to, I don't know. I'm trying to show us, but it's loading another thing entirely. Okay, yeah, good. See, you see text, you see CSV, you see XML, like that. There are different data sources, though there are different places or sources you can bring in data to Power BI. So you can use File, you can use Azure, you can use Power Platform, any of the platforms you want to use to bring in data. However, for the sake of this particular class, we already have our data sets. Like I advised the other time, on my own, not to make my work scattered, and because I download data sets to analyze, just to practice and all. So the best thing I do is that I make sure I have a folder where it is labeled data bank, where it's labeled, or a folder labeled data bank. So it is easy for me to pick any form of data I want to use or analyze from that place. So now what I'm going to do now is, we know that the next step, once you've opened your worksheet, is to go download or to bring in your data that you want to work with. So I want to go and bring in my data. Now, this I already opened. This is my desktop, right? So from my desktop, I'm going directly to my data bank. Now, from my data bank, I can now pick the credit card defaults, data analytics.
Sorry, your screen is still on that Excel file that you opened since.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay. You sure?
I don't know if it's the same with other people.
I'm coming. How about now? Can you see my new screen now?
Yes. Yeah, that's more.
You can see it, right?
Yes.
So let me go back for the sake of those who don't. So like I said, there are different data sources.
I'm still seeing the Excel from my head.
It's still Excel from your end?
Sorry, Emmanuel. I'm still seeing the Excel from my head. Yeah.
Okay, who else is still seeing Excel and not Power BI? I think you should see Power BI now and not Excel. Are you still seeing Excel? Are you still seeing Excel? Huh? Please kindly confirm to me. Okay, I think Muiwa left the call already. Probably his network. Please, if you can hear me, kindly confirm to me it is not just the Excel you are seeing now, you are seeing the Power BI now. Please, I'm waiting for us to confirm to me it is not just the Power BI. It's not just the Excel you are seeing now. Please, anybody to do that so that we can.
I'm seeing the Power BI.
Yes, I can see the Power BI. So.
All right, fine. Awesome. So like I said before, I said there are different places you can bring in data into your Power BI. So like this, let me show you again, because I thought we're on track the time. Okay. The Power BI. So these are other places or also other sources you can bring in data into Power BI. These are other sources from the web, a whole lot of sources that you can use to bring in data into your Power BI. However, tonight we already have a data bank or a data set we would like to work on. So what we just need to do is just go directly to where the data is on your PC, then we upload it on our Power BI. It's going to be an interesting ride tonight, but please, I want you to pay attention because we'll be doing some not really technical stuff, but which is quite different from what we did in the last class. So I would need you to pay attention. So I designed, or the class is designed in such a way that we will not be doing the technical part of measure and calculate function. We'll focus on data transformation and perhaps data visualization. So what I just need to do is, since the file I want to import into my Power BI is Excel, I just click here. Now, let me go back. I said it is critical that you place your works. Like anything that has to do with data analytics, I have I have a folder which I call data bank. So what I just need to do is go here, go to my data bank, pick the data I want to analyze, then open. So what's going to happen is you will see a pop-up on the screen right now. You see a pop-up on the screen right now. So I have to, so to speak, you can see two stuffs here. You can see data and you can see key. I will explain to you the importance of that key as time goes on, but critically, I will just pick this because this is what I want to work on. This is what I want to work on. So the next thing is I am not going to load. Like I said, there are a whole lot of things here that needs to be done. Like I need to now understand the fact that there is need for me to now transform my data. So I'm going to load. Now, something is going to pop up now. And what is popping up is called Power Query. There's also Power Query in Excel. So I don't know if you can see the Power Query loading or it's just still that Power BI you are seeing. Please kindly confirm to me you are seeing the Power Query.
I think it's just Power BI. Yes.
It's still Power BI, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right, you should see my Power Query now.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Now, I want us to pay close attention. Now, there are different headings here with different ribbons. You have the transform, you have the add column, you have the view, you have the tools, etc. like that. So now, the first thing we want to do is that this particular data that I want to analyze, like I said, I need to first clean this data. Now, Power Query, pay close attention. For those of us that want to take or that want to make data analytics a career path, Power Query make use of what we call the M code. Now, this is what they call the M code. You can see the arrow, what is scrolling on the screen right now. This arrow is what they call the M code. The M code. However, you don't need to write any code in Power Query. So what you just need to do is anything you are imputing in English language automatically becomes a code. Like automatically becomes a code. So, however, the code in Power Query is called the M code. In case of interview, or in case of any interview, for those of us that want to pick up career paths in data analytics, they can ask you, what is the code for Power BI? The code for Power Query in Power BI is the M code. So let us start. Now, the first thing I want to do is that I am seeing some columns here. See, these data sets, they are more than 1,000. Like when you continue to scroll down, you will find out that this data set is more than 1,000 when you keep naming them. But you can only see 1 to 1,000. You can only see 1 to 1,000. So I want to do something. Like first, I don't need this thing. I don't need this part. So there's no point, since I'm more interested in the numbers of those that defaulted in payment, their region, their territory, etc. So I need to now, I now need to start working on my data. So the first thing I want to do is I want to remove this column because I don't need it. So that one is gone. Now, let me show you something. I might want to determine how my data set is working. So I might say, okay, show me the column profile. See, when you check this dashboard, you will see show white space, show column quality, show column profile. So when you see show column profile, something is going to happen. Because I have not started working, so then the next one is column distribution. So this one is showing me each column distribution. It is optional, but I'm just showing you different possibilities that avails in Power Query or Power BI, so to speak. So let me just turn off this. Then let me just go with this. Now, I have automatically transformed. Please, can you still hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Loud and clear. Awesome. Thank you. I need to be sure you can hear me and my network is not messing up. All right. So the next thing I need to do is that I have done the necessary things. I have taken one off. Now the next thing I need to do is I want to make so now this set of data. Now there is a key I was given. There is a key that was given. Let me change my share so that I can see. Can you see the new? I don't know. Can you see the new Excel file? Please confirm to me you can see the new Excel file.
Yes, yes, yes.
Now, in the new Excel file, there is an attachment which is key. So they said anywhere you see 1, it is representing male. Anywhere you see 2, it is representing female. Anywhere you see education, 1 stands for graduates, 2 stands for undergraduates, 3 stands for higher school diploma. And if any of these 3 does not exist, it means the next thing is unknown. Probably we could find people that did not graduate, so they will belong to the unknown region. While in marriage, 1 represents married, 2 represents single, then else is unknown. See, to now do this, there is a need for us to understand how Power BI or Power Query works. So it is called, I'm coming. So they said anywhere we see 1, okay, let me just keep up. So now you realize that since I have edited this whole thing, so I want to make these headings my header, that is the limit balance, the sex, the education, the marriage, and all. So I want to make it my header. So this is how you make it your header. Let me go back. You click on this. Immediately you get to home. When you are on home, you click on the column you want to make or the rows you want to make the header. So I'll just come here and I'll click. Look at what's going to happen. Look at what happened. What happened is that you see that before you were seeing X1, X2, X3. Then the next thing you start seeing now is limit balance, sex, education, marriage, and the likes. I haven't said that. Now, there is something about Power Query that when you're analyzing a data, and probably it is in decimal, is in fraction, is in percentage, it is only that command that you give it is going to. Now, if I'm to work on this sex part, like I want to analyze the sex of the people that collected the credit card, this thing is going to be giving me perhaps a summation, because there is now need for me. Don't forget, let me show you back. Yeah, we're given a key, and this is the key. They said anywhere we see 1, it means it is male. Anywhere we see 2, it is female. Now, for education, anywhere we see 1, it is graduate. Anywhere we see 2, it is undergraduate. Anywhere we see 3, it is high school diploma. So how do we now transform this data? Because this one is data transformation now. How do we now transform this data? Now, there are a lot of functions you can use in Power Query. There are a lot of functions you can use in Power Query. I decided to turn off my video because I realized that my network is kind of slow from this place. So I don't know. Any question to this point? Any question? So we can, no question yet, right?
Sorry, I think I lost you at some point when
Okay.
you, the way you made the limits, sex, education, marriage, and everything, the way you made them the header, I didn't quite get that part.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. You know, this was, if anything, now look at this side. Look at where my arrow is. Any changes made in Power Query, it follows in a sequential order here. So that's why you can see every of it. That's why it's very possible. You say what? Okay, so now you were asking how I was able to make these things my header. I was able to make the rows my header. So it is very simple. What you just do is you click here. When you click here, then you will see use first row as header. Look at it here. Use first row as header, then you click. It is asking me to insert step because I have done this before. So I'm going to cancel. So what I'm just going to do, I haven't known that if I press this, if I enter this, it's going to change to header. So I just come here since I've done that before. So it just takes me back to the usual position. But one thing about it is that you cannot skip a step. It shows you practically each steps you take in the Power Query BI. Do you understand that? Now, I now said, now we need to check through. We need to check through our data. Now you will find out that there is a mistake here. Normally, because of the fact that I removed some rows, so there was an adjustment. Ordinarily, North Carolina is a state, so North Carolina should not be the heading here. So to change the name of the heading is very simple. You just double tap. Once you double tap, you can now change to whatever name you want to change to, which is state. Enter. I've been able to change. It's telling me, do I want to skip step because I am not in the last place I was meant to be. So let me now change it now. You see it won't bring that in again. States. You see, everything has changed the way it should be. Everything has changed to the normal way it should be, right? I haven't done that. I'm sure it's going to sound technical, when you go over the video again, you would understand what I'm doing. But with this, you should be able to understand what I'm doing also. Now, look at this place. You see this particular place. Don't forget, I showed you a portion or a key in the Excel file where they said anywhere we see 1, we are going to make it male. Anywhere we see 2, we are going to make it female. It's going to be a whole lot of work. If I now begin to come here and now begin to write 1 male, 1 male, 1 male, 1 male, no, it's going to be a whole lot of work for me. So what will I do? Very simple. I will just say, I'll go to add column, or you can use anyone actually. So, but let me use transform. Then I want to replace value. You see this particular running time. Okay. Please, once it goes off, let us come back to use the link again. So now, what it means is that, let me go back to the operation so that you see what I did there. So now I want to change the key. Anywhere I see 1, I want to insert male. Anywhere I see 2, I want to insert female. So I will go to conditional statements. So how do I get to the condition? How do I get to this place? I want to replace values. Sorry, it is in the other part we are going to do conditional statements. So how do I change this thing from 1 to male and from 2 to female? Very simple. Just watch me. So I will come to transform. When I get to transform, I will say I want to replace values. So now the value I want to replace is anywhere you see, I'll just say anywhere you see 1, no, please help me replace it with male. Help me replace it with male. Let's see. Do you know why this is not going to work? And I intentionally do it so that we can see. It is not going to work because we are still, you know, I said something that when we started, I said, if you are to leave these figures like this, Power Query or Power BI as it is, when it is analyzing this data, is going to be adding or summing these numbers together. So what I'm going to do now is, this is still in number, so I would need to change it to text. I need to change from number to text. How do I change from number to text? Very simple. You click here. When you click here, you see decimal number, fixed decimal number, whole number, percentage, date, and all. So I won't do that. I just want to go for text. So I've been able to change from number to text. So let's now see it work now. So I want to replace the value. So anywhere I see 1, I'll say Power BI, please change it to male for me. Can you see the transformation? It means everywhere you've been seeing 1 before, everything has changed to male. So I will do the same thing for female. I want to replace the figure again. Okay, Power Query. Anywhere you see 2, kindly change it to female for me. And Power Query will say, okay, it has changed. Anywhere you are going to be seeing 2, or anywhere you see 2 has changed to female. Now, there is now another key where we're given for education. Let me show us that one. They said anywhere we see 1, we should represent it with graduate. Anywhere we see 2, we should represent it on the graduate. Anywhere we see 3, we should represent it with higher diploma. Now, this is if statements. If statements. By the time you now start getting into the place of, doing Python as coding to analyze data, you understand this statement very well. Else, if, right? So now this is an if statement. It is a conditional statement. The first one was 1 and 2, but yeah, I have graduate, undergraduate, higher diploma. It means it will be another tons of work for me to be doing to analyze this set of data. So I am going to use the conditional statement. This is very simple. Very, very simple. Just watch and see. Now we come to our Power Query editor. We share. Now I will just click on education. Education. Then I want to see. They say anywhere I see 1, it should be noted as graduate. Anywhere I see 2, it should be noted as undergraduate. Anywhere I see 3, it should be noted as a high school graduate. Then if not any of these 3, then it should be unknown. So watch. Now let me go back again. I will click on education. Then the next thing I want to do is I want to transform this data. Instead of seeing 2, 2, 1, 3, it means the next thing you are going to be seeing, 2 is for undergraduates, 1 is for graduates, 3 is for high school graduates. Then if not 1, if not 2, if not 3, then they are unknown. What means say if statement? It is a conditional statement. See, there are a lot of functions. Please don't limit yourself to just this once in a time gathering we have. You need now to go make research. So there are a lot of functions: the measure, the calculate, the median, the mode, the calculate function, and the likes. But regardless, we are going to be doing this conditional statement. So what I'll do is I'll click on education, since this is the area I want to work with, and I'm using the conditional statement. So I'll now come here, I'll say add column. Under add column, I will find my conditional column. Now, you see, it is education, right? Let me just change it to education status. Education status, so that, because the key, the name must not be the same with the former one that existed. So when I'm done transforming this data, I can now delete the former data. So let me say education status. Okay, now I'm doing education, right? So see, when you see this, it has already given me the options of the headers I have. But since I'm working with education, then I pick education. So I'll now say, now here, notice you have A, B, C, and 1, 2, 3. So it doesn't have to be, even if it is number, even if it is text, it's going to work. Unlike the first one I did in sex, where I have now, I needed to come back to change from number to text. But yeah, you don't need to change from number to text, because if you check up the upper part here, you see ABC, and if you check the lower part here, you see 1, 2, 3. So it's very easy that way. So equals to, so anywhere I see, can you help me? Anywhere I see 1 for education, 1 is equals to what? 1 is what? Anybody who can help me?
Graduate.
1 is graduate. Thank you. So I'll say 1. I'll say, so it's just like I'm giving a command. I'll say, Oga, anywhere you see 1, please change it to graduate for me. Change it to graduate for me. Let me add another clause, because we have 3. I'll now say again, there we go again. Okay, else if it is not 1, then what again? I'll say I'll still pick education, then equals, okay. Then if it is 2, I'll say Power Query, please change it to what? Undergraduate for me. Please, are we following? Because it is 3, I'm going to add another clause, still education. I'll say Power Query, please, if this thing is 3, please change it to high school graduate for me. Change it to high school graduate for me. So now I will now say, see, it has stated it that else, if it is not graduate, if it is not undergraduate, if it is not high school graduate, then if you don't know this, just tell me it is what? Unknown. Tell me it is unknown. Then I will say, okay. Did you see the transformation? Did you see the transformation? Please talk to me. Did you see the transformation?
Yes, I can see.
You can see it, right?
Yes.
Who doesn't understand, so that I can come back? So this is how to use the conditional statement. This is how to use the conditional statement. So what I'll now do is that I'll go back, then delete the previous one. Still the same process.